Hello everyone, let's go through and build our very simple 2-location game. So to start off with, we're going to refer to our state diagram there, and we're going to look at the first state, which is the cave, and we're going to focus on the description, and we're just going to print the description on the screen to begin with. Okay, so if we look at the cave, we can see the description is saying you are in a dark cave. So we're just going to start our program by typing print, you are in a dark cave, like that. And if you run it, you can see that on the screen as usual. And then the next thing we're going to look at is the choices, and we can see that from the dark cave we can go east. So the way we're going to introduce the choices into our game, we're going to just display another line that says you can do the following. Okay, just another line of text like that. And then underneath that, we are going to display a button for every one of the choices that we have. So in this case, we only have just the one choice to go east. So we're going to display the button to do that. So it's going to be print button, go east. Just like that. And obviously if we run this right now, we'll get an error because we haven't imported it from Goodies. So let's go through and import everything from Goodies at the moment. Okay, so from Goodies, import star. Print button. Actually, you know what? For this experiment, we are just going to do print button. So keep it nice and light, but you can use star if you like. Okay, that should be import, not from. You are in a dark cave. You can do the following, go east, and obviously you can click on that and nothing happens. So at this point, we're going to wait for the user to click on the button and then use the if statement together with the isButtonClicked function to detect which button the user has clicked, and we are going to direct them to another location. So first thing we're going to do there is wait for button click. Okay, and at this point, you know what, I'm going to change the print button to star because we're going to be importing a whole bunch of different functions here. And if is button clicked, okay, I'm just going to copy this text exactly as it is. If they do click that button, for now all we're going to do is just print going east. Okay, we're going to change this later so that we're going to take the user to the new location. But for now, we're just going to display going east. Let's run this and see what happens. You're in a dark cave, you can do the following, click go east, and then it says going east, and then our program ends. Okay, so that's how we do that very first location of the cave. So in order to create a second location and link up the two, we're going to go back and make a small change to our cave location here. So you remember that the name for our location is one word. In this case, it's cave. Well, what we're going to do is at the beginning or at the top of every location that we have, we're going to create a label and we're going to give it the name of the location. So label space.cave. So if you remember from the previous exercises, the purpose of having a label is to put a little bookmark in our code so that we can jump to that location or that bookmark or that label from another part of the code. So this is going to enable our program to go from one location to another so long as the location has a label in front of it, just like that. Okay, so this makes our first location pretty much complete. So now we're ready to create our second location. We'll do that and then we'll link up the two locations at the end. To do the second location here, we're going to, let's do the waterfall. In this situation, I'm going to start with the label waterfall, and I'm going to go through the same process. So print, I'm going to print the description, which is you are underneath a roaring waterfall, like that. And then I'm going to display you can do the following. Okay, and then at this point we're going to create another button for every location, for every choice that we have, which is, in this case, we're at the waterfall, so we can go west back to the cave. Okay, so we're going to go, whoops, go west, wait for button click, and then if is button clicked, go west, we're just going to print going west. Okay, so let's take a run. Let's run through this and see what happens. You're in a dark cave. You can do the following. Now, if I click on go east, what do you think will happen? Well, remember, we are right here at the code here. We're checking to see whether the button is clicked. If it is go east, we're going to display going east. So after we display going east, notice that even though we've got a space here and then label waterfall, oh, and by the way, blank spaces or blank lines don't matter in Python, okay? It's just a way of laying out our code to make it look a bit neater, but Python doesn't really care if you've got blank spaces. So after you display going east, the next line of code is this label, and then we go straight to the waterfall, okay? So it's going to go immediately from here down to here anyway. So if I click go east, it's going to say going east, and then you are underneath a roaring waterfall. You can do the following, go west. So if I click on go west now, what do you think will happen? Okay, so let's try that. Go west. It says going west, and then the thing stops. Okay, so that's because we display that here, but there's no more lines of code here, so it doesn't go back to the cave. So you might think, oh, let's just copy the cave and put it down here. Okay, but then you can go into a circle, right? You can always go east, go west, go east, go west. So you're going to be ending up copying and pasting the code over and over again, which isn't what we want to do. So we don't want to do that. So in order to link the locations back, what I'm going to do is, after we display going west, I'm going to use my go-to statement to go back to the cave. Okay, so that's why it was important to start every location with a label. It's so that later on, when we are in a different location and we want to go back to that location, we can use the go-to statement to go back there. Okay, notice these two lines of code are indented. They're pushed in because they have to, they only run if that statement is true. Okay, so let's check that out now. You're in a dark cave. You can do the following: go east. Going east, you are underneath a roaring waterfall. You can do the following: go west, and then we're back in the dark cave. We can go east, go west, go east, go west. Okay, so we can actually go backwards and forwards forever between these two locations because we have linked them up. The last thing I'm actually going to do is at the end of this if statement here, if button clicked go east in the cave, instead of just letting it automatically go to the next location, I'm going to put in a go to statement here and then make it go to the waterfall. Okay, just to make it consistent with how we've done it in the second location, and just to make it part of the pattern where after we've checked for a button is clicked, we're going to display something and then we're going to go to another location. In this case, the go to just immediately goes to the next line, so it would have done that anyway, but we're just going to put this in so that it is consistent. It's the same as the others. And then there may be a situation in the future where we do not want to go to the location that's immediately underneath it. We might want to go to another location down here that's, I don't know, a castle, right? So we want to replace that with go to castle instead. So that's just a small change, doesn't affect anything, but when you run it now, you can go east and west forever. So that's how we can use our state diagrams, tie it together with what we've learned in programming so far.